Hey guys, it's me. No, I'm just kidding. Hey guys, it's me, Buffmachunk here, and welcome to episode 4 of my animation tutorial. Today, we're going to be talking about importing Minecraft saves into Cinema 4D so you can animate in a Minecraft save. Okay, so first step here is you're going to download Mineways. Google it. I'm not going to provide a link. Sorry. uh, Once you get it, it'll be an exe, or if you're on Mac, it'll be whatever kind of file it is. What you'll do is, first off, build your Minecraft world. Second off, open Mineways. I'll move this folder now. Mineways looks like this upon loading. I'm going to make it full screen. You hit File, Open World, and then you can choose something. I'm going to... I don't even know. Which one should I do? You know, let's just, let's grab a regular looking world. Unknown block types encountered. Now, if this won't happen, ooh, that's kind of cool. That won't happen for current versions of Minecraft, but snapshots it will. So you'll note it's a little bit laggy when you're moving around like this, but you click to move the actual view. And let's say I want this island in my animation. What you do is you right click and drag a purple box. Oh, I kind of failed because I clicked. You click, right click and drag to create this purple box. Once you're done, you'll have your purple box there, and you'll hit File, Export for rendering, or Control R. It will give you this screen here, and I'll just call this test, and I'll put it in my animation folder, and wavefront obj file, and hit save. It'll bring up this model export dialog. Ignore most of this, but make sure that this under scale, make each block is selected, and it needs to be 1,000 millimeters high, which is 1 meter, because each block is 1 meter, so it's 1,000 millimeters. You could make it so that each block is individual, but I'll explain that more in a second here. So yeah, I'll just hit OK here. It'll do that, and you've got that now. So that's cool. Next thing I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go up to this, and I'm going to make a smaller selection, just like right there. And if this comes up on your selection, it's basically saying that there's some stuff that's not visible. If you do want to do like the entire chunk or just what's visible, for right now, for this second one, just for example, I'm going to hit no. And you'll note that that's not supposed to be like that, but it doesn't update. Export for rendering, I'll just name this test 2. Hit save, and I'm going to select this one to be individual blocks, so you can see the difference. I suggest not doing that, the individual blocks setting, unless you're doing it for a small area and you need to do it. Okay, once you've done that, you should now in the folder, of course, have a file called whatever you called it. In my case, test.obj. So what I'm going to do here is you'll note that it comes with test.obj and then a whole bunch of texture files. So first thing you got to do, drag it in there. It's going to ask you scale, just hit 1. And it'll load here for a second. And you'll note that everything's in this kind of color. Right now my CPU is kind of acting a fool, so ignore any lag. But you'll note now that this is to the scale of the rig. So any Minecraft rigs are going to be the right scale. If the rig in the first place is the right scale. Okay, so now you'll know. Big problem here is that, well, there's no textures. So we want textures. So what you want to do is all your materials down here, you want to select them, and under texture you want to hit the dot dot dot, and it'll bring up this. And you want to find any Minecraft RBG. Here's the test ones. So test alpha, test RBG, and RGBA. So you want to select test RGB and hit OK. So you know now all of it has textures. There are some problems. First off, it's extremely blurry. You'll see if I render it. Get up close and render it. It's blurry. Okay. To change that, you click. Make sure you have them all selected. Click sampling here and hit none. Now when you render it, it'll be normal. Yeah. You'll also note that it kind of has sunlight reflection, so go to basic and uncheck specular. Yeah, so now if you go to basic and hit well, okay, first off I'll point it out. You'll note that the tall grass here when rendered has black, and you don't want that. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to basic while selecting all of them again, and check alpha. Go into alpha, and under texture, hit dot dot dot. Find your textures again and choose the RGBA. And now when rendered, you'll see it is see-through. Make sure that this sampling, though, is set to none. Otherwise, it's blurry like that. So there you go. So, in essence, that's how you import a Minecraft save into your world. We'll talk about lighting it up and making the sky look nice in a second here. But first, select all your textures again. Right-click and remove duplicate materials. Now it'll make it all one material. And yeah. Next, I'm actually going to take test2.object and import that as well. You'll see the difference here is that there's a whole bunch of blocks. If we go back to the other one, each type of block has its own different thing, right? But here, every individual block has its own thing, and you can select them individually. Now, that's useful because if you want to do explosion stuff, well, first off, let me just do textures really quick, and you'll see that I'm going to be just using random texture RGBs, so ignore that for now. Oops, damn. Okay. Just trying to do this fast so that you don't have to watch the same thing twice. Oh, okay, I see the problem there. I need to choose. You need to make sure you're doing the right version of Minecraft, because that's from an older version of Minecraft. Yeah, okay, so what you could do here is basically if you that's not quite what I want to do here. Where's the here it is. You can do stuff like this where you select all of them and give them like a rigid body or something. Or I forget how to use the explosion effects, but basically you can move around each block individually, and yeah, makes it so you can do explosion stuff easier, which I'll do a tutorial on later, not today. Anyways, so that's individual blocks, what that setting does. It's really hard on your computer, so I don't suggest doing it often. Anyways, test.ob. So you'll note when rendered, this looks pretty gross. There's no shadows and everything's just a weird color. The water's not reflective and such. So that's what we're gonna resolve right now. If you have money, you can buy Grayscale Gorillas pack, but and that has a bunch of cool sky lights and stuff. But I know that a lot of people who bought this spent a lot of money on it and probably won't have enough money left to buy it. So come in here and hit Physical Sky. You'll note right off the bat once you do that, when you render it, it looks a lot better. Like if I look at it from this side where the sun is not is shining on. Yeah, so you'll see there's actual dynamic shadows here going on. You see how this is shadowed, and you know right there's not shadowed. Yeah, you get the gist of that. There's a bunch of settings, of course, you can edit in here. Sky, sun, preview color, custom color. I can make this sun red. So red sun. I don't know why you'd want to do that. Cool effects. I don't know. I generally like a kind of orangish color. It looks kind of cool. Now you'll note this still doesn't really look that good. Lens flares are always fun, by the way. Check that if you like lens flares. You'll see the sun is actually over there. So when you render it, the lens flare will come from over here. The lens flare here, you'll note, starts at a low intensity. So if you want a good lens flare, like a prominent one, yeah, like see, there's the lens flare. Make sure to boost that setting. But either way, it still doesn't look all too great. So what I suggest you do now is actually hit Control B or go to Render and Edit Render Settings. And you're going to go in here. And I suggest changing this to Physical, especially for outside kind of stuff. I mean, there's a whole bunch of different things you can do. Physical's nice. I like Physical. Now, anti-aliasing is not really used in Physical, but if you want to use it, it's standard anti-aliasing. I like putting it on best. If you go to Effect, you can add more effects. Depth of field is nice. It's very intensive though. So we're gonna add ambient occlusion. I don't know how to pronounce these things, to be honest. Global illumination and glow. Now, I'm gonna leave glow how it is now. Maybe turn down the intensity even more to like 1%. Global illumination, you can leave it default, but yeah, I suggest HDR Physical Sky because you're using that. Sorry, not HDR. Exterior Physical Sky. And then ambient occlusion, you can change this stuff, but it's fine the way it is. You can lower the settings if you want it to render faster, but you'll notice now, with all these settings changed, our render times are going to go up substantially. Alright, now that that's done rendering, you can see the difference that made. That's actually really good looking. You can see the blocks kind of have a glow to them, like a nice, really colorfulness that kind of catches your eye. And everything's lit nicely and colored really nice, and it's just really good. So I suggest when you're messing around with stuff, you don't have any of this kind of stuff on. Especially for right now when we're going to be messing with the water, you're gonna want to have something. You're gonna want it to go fast so that you can mess with it. So you can leave this water, these water blocks here, or you can completely replace them. For now, I'm just gonna disable them so that we're not distracted by them, so I can show you the other options. Right now I just made a plane, and what you can do with those is you can make them super big, and make those cover the ground and make that your water. Or if you really want to, you can make a floor, which, you know, is infinite, as you might recall. It just goes out infinitely. And as for a texture, what I suggest you do is you click. This is really, honestly, the best water texture I've seen. Yeah, so create, load material preset. You go into broadcast, resources, materials, natural, not natural, not liquid, what is it? Is it liquid? No. Yeah, liquid, water turbulent. Now that'll bring this in there, and you just drag that onto your plane, onto your thing, and you've got a turbulent ocean. Now, you'll note this might not exactly be the color you'd want it to be, but that's easy to be changed. Just double click on it and go to here. This is basically the color of it. So if you double click this thing here, you can choose it to be blue and a kind of a lighter blue. So it's mainly blue there, but then when you render it, you'll see it's a really rich blue. Yeah. Now, another problem you might not like is that when it reaches the actual sides of here, it's really flat. And it doesn't look like it should, because it looks like there's a lot of lift and rise and stuff to that. So there's a few things you can do here. What I suggest you do is you download the plugin Hot4D. Yeah, and then you drag your floor. No, sorry, you drag Hot4D onto your floor. It doesn't really work with floors, so that's why I suggest you do a plane. So we're gonna actually get rid of our floor, and we're gonna get a plane in here. Yeah. So let's just make this big. Yeah, there we go. It's big enough, I think. Drag your Hot4D into the plane, and now you'll note that there's actually, and if I put the texture on it, you'll note that it's not quite so flat anymore. Now I'm actually gonna move the plane up a little bit so it's halfway up the block and whatnot, and render that. Yeah, you'll see it kind of rises and falls, and you can actually do a lot of settings in here. Choppiness, everything. Approximate wave height, I can make it so that it's more, there's more difference throughout this entire thing. And it actually makes the water look pretty darn good. Maybe I'm under the water? Yeah, I guess when you're under the water, it gets a cool texture effect. Or in the water. I don't know, that was weird. Now let me get out of the water and whatnot. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty darn good for water, and that you created a hit. So, there's always the added bonus where if you're to add a floor, make that quite a distance beneath it, and create using a material preset. You can choose whatever texture you want. I'm just using this for right now, but let's say stone. You get sand texture, and you put that on the floor. Then underneath your water, you'll start to see sand, because there's this transparency here. Now, I think the floor is I'm gonna move it over here so I can really see where the floor is. But I want the floor to be, I mean, at 0, why not? At 0, so that's right at the bottom of the blocks. So right at the bottom of the water. And, I mean, there you go. You can kind of start to see the sand underneath it. Yeah, so you can start to see the sand underneath it. And that, in essence, is how you would go about making a good-looking Minecraft world save thing. Yeah, about the water too. This is about to reach 20 something. About the water too, with that plugin. There's other ways of doing it, and I suggest you look up more better tutorials on how to do water. But I like Hot40 a lot. It's there's nothing wrong with it. It's pretty much the best thing for making water. Yeah, if you do more planes like this and such, and let's grab. I'll just copy it. No, wrong one. Oh man, did I not copy it? Darn it. Let me grab it really quick. Natural liquid. There's a lot of different liquids too. Kind of cool. Yeah. You'll see that this is. It looks really weird. How I have it now, but I mean, you can make your own texture for this, but I'm gonna actually bring it back to gray. But you can see you can get choppier waters. The wavelengths can be shorter, wind direction, resolution, ocean size, basically how dispersed out each wave is. It's really in depth and really cool. So, I mean, like, yeah. I mean, cool stuff. So yeah, I hope this was educational. If not, then I'm failing at tutorials. So, cancel. I'm failing at tutorials, but yeah, this should have showed you how to put a nice Minecraft save into your world and design a really nice scene in Cinema 4D for screensavers and whatever. I think that's about it for this time, and I hope to see you guys all next time. Until then, thanks so much for watching, and always remember, with a name like Bluffers, it has to be good. Goodbye.